Happy Monday, everybody. Here we are, day 2 of expressions. More practice. Okay, we're going to need a little bit more practice with this stuff. It's super important moving forward. But let's start off with just a nice quick refresher of what's going on right here in front of our faces. 2x plus 4y minus 9. Algebraic expression, right? It's an expression because there's a bunch of stuff going on with addition and subtraction, right? Some multiplication there. It's algebraic because there's letters. So, answer a few questions for me here. Just kind of out loud to yourself here. How many terms are in this expression? The answer to that, 3. Remember, terms are anything separated by addition or subtraction. So we've got a 2x, we've got a 4y, and we've got a negative 9. We call that a negative 9 because any sign we use with the term that it's in front of, right? So 2x, a plus 4y, and a negative 9. Now, what we talked about last week were a couple of vocab words. So let's start off with this one. Are there any, let's say, variables in this expression? Are there any variables? Remember, variables are letters. So you use to represent something. In this case, yes, there are 2 variables. And it's the x and the y, 2 different variables actually. Are there any coefficients in this expression? Remember, coefficient is the number that is directly in front of a variable. And in this expression, there are 2 coefficients. The coefficients are 2, which is right here in front of the x, and 4, which is right here in front of the y. Call those coefficients. And we found out that those were important words. That's an important word because when we go to combine like terms, we need to know what those numbers are, right? So we put them together. Are there any constants in this expression? A constant, remember, is a term that doesn't have a variable. It's like a regular number. Yeah, there's one of them, right? There's one constant in here, and it's just minus 9. We call these terms, right? There's 3 of them, 2x, 4y, and 9. I guess another question I could ask here is, are there any like terms in this expression? Remember, like terms are terms that are like each other. They have the same variable. Or they could just be like regular numbers, like constants are considered like terms too. No, there are no like terms in this expression, right? 2x, 4y's, and minus 9, none of those are like terms. So let's do a couple practice problems. These problems would be very similar to what you're going to see in your assignment. Okay, and what you're going to do is I want you guys to try these 5. I'm going to write down the answers to these ones. This is a great way to see if you are doing it right or not. Okay, and if you are not doing these problems correctly, you got to ask me for help. Okay, but you have to do these. Do these 5 problems. There's not much in the assignment today. These 5 problems right now, write them down. Okay, so you can just write down the answers. See if you get them right, because I want you to pause it right now, do these problems, and then I'll give you the answers. Okay, and check them and see if you got them right. And if you're getting them right, then you're in a good spot. Go ahead and do the assignment. If you're not getting them right, then you need to ask me for some help. Okay, here we go. Pause it, do them. Welcome back for those of you that have done them. Thank you so much. I appreciate that hard work and effort. Okay, so let's start here with this problem right here. 3x plus 8y plus 13. This one can be simplified by combining these 2 like terms. The 3x and 13x can be combined together because 13x's plus 3 more x's would be a total of 16x's. So we could write that as 16x. But we cannot combine it with the 8y's, right? The 8y. We cannot combine those. We could just write this as 16x plus 8y. Some of you might ask, well, can it be the other way around? Yeah, that's okay. We're kind of going down the rabbit hole there as, whether the x or y should come first, but I'm not going to address that right now. As long as you have a 16x plus an 8y in some fashion there, you're good. The next one, we cannot combine the 3x and the 5y inside the parentheses, but we can use the distributive property to distribute the 7 to both of them. And 7 times 3x would be 21x's, and 7 times 5y would be 35y. Number 6, looks like we've got 3x plus 6x plus 2x. Looks like every single one of the terms in this expression are So we can actually combine all of these terms together. All you got to do is combine those coefficients, right? You got 3x, 6x, and 2x. That's 3 plus 6 plus 2, which is 11x. Answers here. Now down here, for a little bit extra practice with factoring, where you're supposed to factor these expressions, right? Find a common factor and pull it out of these, right? This is undistributing. So for example, I'm going to look at 24x and 18y, and I'm going to look at 24 and 18, the coefficients. I'm going to see if I can find a factor that I can pull out of those. I know a common factor between 24 and 18 is 6. So then that leaves me with, what do I have left in order to do that? And this is the way I think about it. I think about 6 times what? Give me 24x. Well, I know 6 times 4 gives me 24, but I also need the x there, so 4x there. Plus, and 6 times something will give me 18y. 6 times what gives you 18? Well, I know it's 3, but we also have a y there. So that is how we factored out a 6 from this expression. We're left with 4x plus 3y, right? We just took the 6 out, factored it out because of multiplication. And we could check our answer really quick just by doing 6 times 4x and 6 times 3y. We would get this up here. This one over here, 16x plus 4y. A factor that I can factor out of these. I know that 4 can go into both of them, so you can factor out a 4. But I'm going to go with 8 because 8 is the greatest common factor, so we can factor out an 8 from both of them. And out of the 8, 16 divided by 8 would be 2, right? Or 8 times 2 is 16 there, with the x. And 8 times 5 would be 40. And then we have the y there, right? And then that's how we would factor those two expressions. So a little bit of extra practice with factoring it. I've got a cool word problem we're going to do here. And then we're going to do some more vocabulary practice, and we're going to be done with this video. Okay, so a nice quick video today. Gabriella is X years old. So Gabriella doesn't want to tell us her age. Okay? So I'm going to write down a G for Gabriella. And this is how old she is. She's X years old. Her sister Felicia, bye Felicia, is 6 years older than she is. Well, Felicia's 6 years older than that. How do you get 6 more than X? Well, just add 6 to it, right? So that's how old Felicia is. Gabriella's this old, Felicia's this old. Their mother is twice. Okay, so put an N for mother. Their mother is twice as old as Felicia. So here's Felicia's age. How do we show 2 times this? Well, we would take this whole thing and multiply it by 2. How do you multiply an addition problem by 2? How do you multiply an addition expression by 2? You might have seen this before. We can take that addition expression, which is Felicia's age, right? It's Felicia's age, X plus 6, and we can just multiply by 2. We'll put a 2 outside of it. So there's her mom's age, right? So we're kind of working through here. We've got Gabriella is X years old, Felicia is 6 years older than that, and their mom is twice her age, so it's 2 times that. Their aunt, there's another one, by the way. Their aunt Tanya is X years older than their mother. So here's how old the mother is, and Tanya is X years older than that. So we need to add another Gabriella to it, right? We need to add another X to it. How do you add an X to this? Well, 2 times X plus 6 plus another X is their Aunt Tanya's age. Okay. So write and simplify an expression that represents Tanya's age. Well, we have Tanya's age here. Gabrielle, Alicia, times 2 is her mother, plus another X is Tanya's age. Kind of confusing, but it's kind of cool to kind of be able to work through this to show how old Tanya would be. We can actually simplify this now if we use the distributive property and combine like terms. So 2 times X would be 2X. 2 times 6 will be plus 12. And then plus the X that's outside here. So after distributing, we got rid of the parentheses, and now we can combine 2x and the x to make 3x plus 12. So how old is their Aunt Tanya? Actually, their Aunt Tanya is 3 times older than Gabriella plus 12. 3 times older than Gabriella plus 12 years, given what we found out there. So there's a way to use expressions to kind of write out problems like this. Now, we can't really find out how old Tiny is unless we find out how old Gabrielle is, then we could. But for right now, that's the expression. Okay. Last little bit here, guys. This is super important to understand these. This is why I keep doing this. Let's go through these one by one. You have a couple questions like this on your assignment. We have the expression 4n plus 6n plus 8. The first question I'm going to ask you, how many terms are in this expression and what are they? And you can just say these out loud for me too. Right? You don't have to necessarily write these down unless you want to. The answer to this first part here, there are 3 terms. The terms are 4n, that's the first one, 6n is the second one, and an 8. Next question I'm going to ask you, are there any like terms? Remember, terms that are like each other, the same variable. The answer is yes, there are 2 like terms. 4n and 6n are like terms. Are there any coefficients? And this problem, remember, coefficient is that number directly in front of a letter that's being multiplied by it. Are there any coefficients? Yes, there are 2 coefficients. 4 and 6 are both coefficients in this problem. Are there any constants in this problem? Remember, constant is a number that's just by itself, no variable. And yes, there is 1 constant in this problem, that is 8. And in simplest form, what would this expression be? Well, in order to find out what it would be in simplest form, we just combine like terms, simplify it down. And you can combine the 6n and the 4n together to make 10n. And that 8 will still just be chilling there because it's just a regular number. It's not an n, so it doesn't get to combine with the other ones. Guys, hopefully this is some good review on these vocab terms, which are so important, and simplifying expressions. We've got a review tomorrow, test on Thursday. Good luck on your assignment today. Ask for help if needed.